Well, that finished Southampton nil, West Ham nil. Probably not the game we all wanted. We managed to shut up shop. We managed to keep a clean sheet. Unfortunately, on this occasion, we didn't manage to score any either. It was a pretty poor game when all said and done, really. And I guess, you know what? You can't win them all. Just at the end of the game, the commentator said that's West Ham's seventh game in a row in the Premier League without defeat. And there's something to be said for that. We take something from that. Absolutely. I think sometimes we just get so used to scoring lots of goals and maybe a certain expectancy that we'll win that, you ultimately get disappointed with a draw. I was certainly disappointed with the draw against Crystal Palace, and I was disappointed with this draw again today. I'll tell you who wouldn't have been disappointed with a draw, though, and that was Southampton. Now, don't get me wrong, Southampton finished the game the stronger team, but for much of that game, they set out their stall just to deny West Ham space, and they did it really, really successfully. I've got to say, I think possibly it seemed to me that they set out to do two things: deny Antonio any space to run into, which they did, and then deny Soufal and Cresswell any opportunity to cross at all. And they just couldn't. I mean, I can't tell you. Maybe there was one cross from Soufal that I remember, but anytime Cresswell or Soufal looks like they were about to get into a position, you know this. You follow West Ham, you know the position that that these players like to cross from. Anytime they got close, they were forced back. They were just forced back, and we couldn't make the cross. I think it's. I probably should say as well because I'm going to talk about why I thought West Ham couldn't score today and why I thought we didn't get the win. But I probably should say that I did. I took the mickey out of his name, but I thought Sally Sue was excellent today for Southampton, obviously. um, and I thought the striker that they brought on, whose name escapes me now, looked absolutely brilliant. He really did, didn't he? So I mean, I thought they finished really strongly, largely because they brought this guy on, took off the 25 million pound striker, brought this guy on, and they instantly looked more of a threat. Just want to say a big thank you to Sir Daddy. Um, okay, let's go with that. Let's start with that. Thanks for that, mate. It's much appreciated. Um, okay, I thought the second best interception of the day and the best tackle of the day were actually Dawson. Declan Rice, if you haven't watched the game, Declan Rice cleared the ball off the line for West Ham at the end of the game there. Dawson's defending, I thought his heading was pretty damn good. What I wasn't impressed with at all was the amount of times he gave the ball away. Now, I don't expect a defender, particularly a defender who is, let's be fair, a more industrial defender, let's say. I don't expect him to have the touch of Lionel Messi. I really don't. I'm aware that they will lose the ball on occasion. Well, that's fine. But in which case, stop trying to play adventurous passes, because I counted he gave the ball to the opposition at least 5 times, and that I wasn't impressed with. He doesn't. He can be the lump in the middle of the defence and just be there to hoof it out, clear it out, or whatever, or give it to somebody with more ability. But for too many occasions today, because we were unable to open them up, and I'll get onto that in just a second. We tried to. It was almost as if Dawson had taken on the role of playmaker or something, so he would try the 35-yard Hollywood pass, and which invariably would just give to the opposition. And on a couple of occasions, he just gave the ball to the opposition on a 5 meter pass. One time, he just kicked it out for a throw-in. Not particularly going to dig out Dawson. It's only so Daddy brought him up. I just thought I would probably point that out. But actually, on the recovery, and he does recover an awful lot. I think a lot of times he's out of position in the first place. On the recovery, his tackling's pretty good. His heading's excellent, and which I think he blocks Gineppo. A Gineppo shot was really good and managed to deflect it over the bar. So that was good defending. We defended well today. However, I'm not entirely convinced how much Southampton wanted to attack today. I think they didn't want to attack very much at all up until the end, where they got the scent of blood in their nostrils, and then they thought, hello, this game's here for the winning. They certainly didn't start off the game by thinking this game is here for the winning. I'll tell you what was interesting today, though. We looked fatigued, but not physically. I thought actually for most of that game, probably 75 minutes of that game, we had the most energy of both teams. We really did. So I think our fitness is good. What I did, what did worry me though was we seem to be tired in terms of our thought process, in terms of ideas. And actually, I felt that our brains were rusty, if that makes sense. Like you have a rusty brain, but you know what I mean. And I thought actually our final ball and our final technique was actually lacking on so many occasions. Whilst I say that Sufal and Cresswell didn't get in positions for crosses, we did have other players that got into positions for crosses, and the technique was just really really poor. Then you've got those players that you sort of hope will shine and you hope will do something creative, do something magical, or whatever the case may be. Just do something to open up the opposition, and those guys were disappointing today. I think it's fair to say that our two most creative players would be Antonio and Ben Rama. The start of the season, they both started very, very well. They just couldn't create today. I know Fornals is one of our most creative players, has been, and he scored some goals. But what Fornals brings you is Fornals will also drop back deep in midfield and supply the work rate. So he was still doing the work rate today. Antonio, if Antonio's not firing, then it ain't looking great. And he didn't. It wasn't particularly good today. And I probably should point out, if you've not watched the game, that Antonio's got a red. Well, he got 2 yellows, so he's got a red card, and he is going to miss Manchester City away. And he can. Was the final yellow card a yellow card? Probably not. But bearing in mind he was already on a yellow card, he probably shouldn't have been sliding in out of control with his feet dangling in the air, sliding around on his arse. Quite frankly, so he probably shouldn't have done that. So I don't think you can. I don't think you can complain too much. He got a red card. If you're going to do that, you're sort of expecting one. And I can't sit here before the game and criticise the Tottenham player for doing what I thought was more or less the same thing. One thing did make me laugh, actually. The first red card that Antonio got was for a tussle, and I think it was with possibly Stevens. Possibly that was who it was. It was the anyway, whatever, Southampton defender, and it was on the touchline basically, and there was a bit of a shoving match, and it should have been a foul initially to West Ham. The Southampton defender was all over him, and he sort of body checked him, and he was sort of throwing him. He was throwing Antonio around. Antonio had enough, and obviously Antonio is just going to be stronger than most people. In the end, he thought, "I've had enough of this." He grabbed the Southampton defender and just basically threw him down. The referee was in control of it. A bit of handbags, really. Much ado about nothing. Nathan Redmond puffs his chest out, strolls over to Antonio, giving it all. And I thought, what are you going to do? What exactly? You're going to do nothing. Why are you puffing your chest out? Why are you eyeballing Antonio? You're going to do nothing. It was just, I just found it fun. I just found it funny, really. Anyway, that was one of the few things I did find funny in that game. Okay, what can I say? I thought they were very compact. There's no space for us to operate in. And when the opposition are giving you no space to operate in, that final pass has got to be precise. And if you can't go through the middle, which we couldn't, then your crossing better be good. It wasn't. And actually, I know that, well, Gio spoke before and said that their goalkeeper wasn't particularly good. We never really got a chance to test him. And anything we did do, he caught comfortably. I mean, they look nothing wrong with him, but was he being forced to do numerous saves? I don't think he was. As I say, I thought Sally Sue marshalled Antonio brilliantly. He looks like a really, really good player. And fair play to him. Maybe that's one of the reasons that they decided. I thought we had good pressure, but just bad ball retention. And actually, while Southampton were compact and sat back in the first half, I thought we gave them no option to pass it out. We were really pressing. As I say, we physically looked fit. It's like we were well drilled in our position. So David Moyes had said, when Southampton get the ball, you three go and you press, you two sit behind. And I felt they followed instructions well. So off the ball, well, out of possession, I felt we were fine. Um, it's but I just I just felt that when we were about to attack, we just run out of ideas and we run out of technique. Certainly, um, we've because we stopped. Basically, there was no space for Antonio to run into because of how compact they were, and that kills a massive part of our game. Um, and I think just reading between the lines, and you look at how many players either looked physically tired or looked mentally tired. I think this was really something that was. I just felt we suffered because of the amount of players we had on international duty, and we're gonna have to deal with that. We're gonna have to find a way through that. I'm conscious that I'm speaking as if we've lost a game. We haven't. It's another point. That's no bad thing. That's no bad thing. I just think some as Scott. Let me just pop this up from Scott here. As Scott says, we are unbeaten in the last 7, and that is a really good thing. Nothing wrong with that at all. And it's just I think sometimes you allow yourself to dream a little bit that you might get top 4 or whatever. We're still a very good team. We really are a very good team. And I think a measure of how good a team we are was how Crystal Palace and then Southampton have approached the games against us. It's as good as we are, I do think we're a counter-attacking team. So you allow us that space in behind, and we're going to exploit it. And if there's no space in behind, there's just nothing that really we can do because if good teams are going to sit back against us, then they're almost treating us like a big team. But actually, we don't have enough good players in our squad to be a big team. We don't have the players that are going to produce that bit of magic. For instance, I just saw. So I was getting ready for this video. I saw that Man United had put 3 or 4 past Newcastle. One of the goals was from Fernandes. We don't really have anyone doing that sort of thing. So when games are tight and when people are sat and not allowing you any space, have we got somebody that can open up a tight and compact defence? Not so much. Not so much. We haven't, and we were doing that quite well before. But the crosses have to be good because we do have some bodies into the box. And on 2 occasions, Thomas Soucek got into the box, but the headers were either off target or the crosses were just not good enough, and the keeper caught them. And we did not test their keeper anywhere near enough. I mean, I just thought he was very comfortable. And then the longer the game went on, Southampton started to counter and started to counter well, and I felt their confidence really started to grow. But they definitely went into that game looking for a draw. There's no doubt about it, and I think for that reason they'll probably be the happier of the 2 teams. We went into that game looking for a win, but we just weren't good enough to make it happen. For those of you that didn't see the game, well, basically Ben Rama came off and Vlasic came on, and he looked decent. I mean, he really did. He looked. He's work. I tell you what, you can see straight away. He's a workaholic. He really is. He's. We have to make comparisons because this is just the nature of what we're dealing with. If anything, he looked like a bit of a cross between Ben Rama and Bowen. Just tons and tons of work rate, but lots of ability as well. It's hard to pick out a man of the match for this one, and bearing in mind we've just drawn 0-0. I mean, to be fair, I've done nearly 14 minutes talking about it. I'm not sure I've managed that with what has really been an uneventful game. Neither keeper was making a raft of saves. But as I say, towards the end of the game, when they started to come into it, we were pushing up. It left space in behind. And then they were able to exploit it. And I did think the striker that they brought on, whose name escapes me, did look very good. And to be fair, he put Ogbonna on his ass as well, hit the post. If anyone's going to win at the end, it was definitely going to be Southampton. And you know what? I think if Southampton had won, we'd have felt hard done by, but Southampton would have considered it to be a job well done because they just kept us quiet. They defended manfully for most of the game, and then sort of came good at the end. Two things I just want to pull up here because I'm going to deal with it as obviously just my own today. Rice man and match is Ben. And And Ionic says Bowen's work rate and work ethic makes him my man of the match. It's quite funny that you both posted those and you posted them after one another and you didn't know you were going to post it, because actually those were the two people that I was going to pick from, and I will. Rice's and Miggsy's saying again, Rice or Bowen. Rice's clearance off the line gained us a point. We shouldn't really have been in a position where it was gained us a point. I'd like to say we should have been ahead by then, but we didn't have lots of good chances. If I were to have to sum up the game, and I'll do the man of the match in just a second. If I had to sum up the game, I just felt we lacked ideas and we lacked a cutting edge. Okay, and we didn't test the keeper enough. We struggled to create goal scoring opportunities, and because of that, we didn't deserve to win the game. They did create a goal scoring opportunity near the end, maybe two, you could say, Southampton, but they didn't show enough ambition throughout the game that they deserved to win the game. Nobody deserved. A draw was actually the right result there. Nobody really deserved to win. It's been really, really interesting now for West Ham, for us West Ham fans, in the build-up, because we've got the European game coming up. How are we going to handle that? I'm actually quite pleased. Well, I am pleased that we haven't lost. Of course, I'm pleased we haven't lost. But actually looking at the game now, so what's that? So we got 8 points. Is that right? We got 8 points from 4 games. Is that right? I think it is. Actually, that ain't bad. That ain't bad. Particularly bearing in mind we've got European campaign. A lot of these clubs that go on and struggle in Europe, I think perhaps because they play pre-qualifiers or something like that, they don't pick up many league points. So we've already got 8 points in the bag, which is good. So we go off and play the European game. Be interesting to see what Moyes does. Be interesting to see what he does with Antonio, because obviously I'm sure he was going to factor in that Antonio was going to play league games and lots of league games. Well, Antonio's already picked up a ban for a league game, basically. I'll deal with the players individually when I do the player ratings on the patrons, which I'll do later. Man of the match we'll do in just a second. But just, so my point is on Antonio, that really it may well be that he features in some capacity in the European game. I don't know what Moyes is going to do. I don't feel we looked unfit until near the end of the game. There were one or two we looked on, but a fresh. We looked like we had a bunch of players who had been on planes and been travelling here, there, and everywhere. I'm sure if we hadn't had an international break, I'm pretty sure we would have found a way past Southampton. If we'd have been able to spend the last 2 weeks on the training ground, we would have found a way past Southampton. We just couldn't do it. But this is our problem. It's our problem to solve, really. Man of match out of 2, I am. Well, this is a good name, isn't it? Is it Snazzy Azzy? I like that. I'm going to give it to Bowen as well, Snazzy. I will give it to him. And just finally, this is. I agree with this. We're not quite a week, but I absolutely would let them. I'd probably give them tomorrow off or something like that, or whatever. I'd let them, give them a couple of days off and just make sure they sort of refresh their minds and come back, because if a lot of them are on international duty, then it's difficult, and it's no coincidence. Let's be fair, that a lot of us are saying Bowen hasn't been travelling around, has not been on international duty, so probably no coincidence in that at all. I thought he was. If anything was ever going to happen, it was going to come from Bowen. Obviously, I've spoken about Southampton's chances. Not we didn't have any, and one of the best chances we had was in fact Bowen's spinning kick. Wasn't quite a bicycle kick, but whatever. It was a sort of half foot volley with his left foot, which forced the goalkeeper into a good save. It was a very, very good attempt indeed. And had he scored that, and he was close to scoring it, it would have been a really excellent goal that you'd watch time and time again. So well done, Bowen. Well done. The crowd, sorry, but probably say the crowd didn't stop. That's the other thing. I felt that the West Ham fans outsung the Southampton fans today. So that's absolutely great, and it gives us something. I think we're a team that are finding our identity, our new identity, which is basically we don't go anywhere and get whooped anymore. We go into games that we're expecting to win, and I think we often go into games with the opposition now expecting us to win, which is going to make them sit back. So this is a little puzzle that we're going to have to solve. But I also think, just going back to the fans, I think the fans are adapting to this new consistent West Ham, if you like, and I think you can hear it in the song, and you can hear how vocal they are, and how much they're going out and enjoying themselves, and almost, there's you can. I wasn't there. Gio's there, but you can almost feel the pride coming through the television screen, particularly with the volume pumped up. Yeah, so that's it for me. I think it's what can I say? Clean sheet. Uh, didn't quite manage to open them up at players that you wanted to do something wonderful like Ben Rama and Antonio. Didn't really happen for them today. We got to see one of the new signings in Vlasic. I'm pretty sure we'll get to see in our next Premier League game another one of the signings, and that of course would be Kurt Zouma. He's going to have some time to play on the training ground now and get used to the system. And quite frankly, I think I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him brought in as well, because it almost seemed like one game too far for Dawson today. And by the way, I don't think Dawson was our worst player. I probably should say that. I felt that he denied them a goal early on, and I felt some of his heading, some of his tackling was really, really good, and he undoubtedly saved a goal. Unfortunately, his passing's poor and he is slow, and that allows teams to get at us. And if teams are going to sit back and then hit us on the counter, what we do is incrementally move further and further and further up the pitch and play a higher line, which leaves more space in behind us. And Dawson is not someone that you want playing at the back for that. So it will probably be good to get someone a little bit quicker in there. And let's be fair, we didn't pay 25 million for a central defender to not play him, so I think he'll play. Sorry I couldn't come and give you a bit of a better video, and we'll have a good laugh, and I have a list in my book, a list full of bloody goals to go through. No goals to report on. But you know what? Not the end of the world. Also, no goals to dissect that we conceded either. So please do enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's at least you've got some of it to enjoy. There's plenty of football left to play. Take some solace, maybe some comfort in the fact that Tottenham did lose earlier, which is. Those of you that work with some Tottenham fans, not all Tottenham fans, but I know those of you who work with some Tottenham fans, they could have been a little bit insufferable if we'd have drawn again, and they'd have been top of the league. I do understand. Somebody said in the chat earlier that Arsenal fans were singing "Today We're Staying Up," which is again is good gallows humour, really really good gallows humour. So thank you. Who's saying chill? Raymond saying chill. Was someone annoyed? Yeah. Well, whatever. It is. It is what it is. Maybe if someone was annoyed, that's just a bit disappointing. I think if you're I'm pretty sure everyone's chilled though. I'm not sure is anyone angry? Maybe I missed it. I haven't been able to watch all the chat, but I do appreciate you all joining in on the video. Player ratings, Patreon player ratings coming up a bit later. I'm going to record that now. Jerry will be sat in someone's seat, a Southampton seat, recording something for the forum channel. Keep an eye on that. I'll be back on the forum channel tomorrow, and please do join us. We've got so many videos coming up this week for the European games. It's unbelievable. IronX recommend a pinball machine for me. IronX, you need to sign to my pinball channel, mate. Gonzo's Pinball Flipperama. That's my pinball channel. Watch that, and there you go. You will have all the recommendations for pinball machines that you need. In fact, I'm playing in a tournament tomorrow. There you go. So wish me luck. I'll probably be useless. I'm going to go and do some finger Actually, I was going to say do some finger exercises. That's the wrong thing to say, really, isn't it? Right, I am going to go. I'm going to go now. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you soon.